Hello retro readers and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm giving you guys a list of my top 10 favorite books that I read in 2020. I wanted to make this list so that you guys can see my favorite books that I read in 2020, as well as like in the future you guys can see that and I can see it. So yeah, without further ado, we're just gonna begin. The first section that I have is going to be nonfiction, and then the other section is fiction. Okay, so my top favorite book from nonfiction that I read in 2020 was Life After Death by Damian Eccles. And this is his nonfiction memoir about how he was falsely imprisoned and sentenced to death row for supposedly killing 3 kids, and he falsely was imprisoned, so he didn't do it. But the reason why he was accused was because as a teen, he was rebellious and he listened to heavy metal in the Satanic Panic era. And he was in a conservative, small Christian southern town. So listening to bands like Iron Maiden was not really great, I guess. But anyways, yeah, this book was really amazing and I loved it. It was kind of hard to follow because it went from his past and his what happened as a teen to him in prison, and it kind of switched. But other than that, this book was really great and I actually loved it more than I thought I was going to. So yeah, I highly recommend this book if it sounds right up your alley. The next book that I liked, the second book that I liked in this list is Girl in the Woods by Aspen Matisse. And this is another memoir about Aspen's experience in college when she was a freshman. She was 4-letter word starting with R, and it's just her memoir about how she came to deal with it and dealing with the aftermath of her horrible thing that happened to her, and dealing with her depression after that, and how she decided to go on a hiking trip type thing. It's like what is it? Like this trail that's spans over several states. So she basically walked and hiked all that trail. I forgot what it's called. The trail starts with a P. Anyways, so yeah, it just follows her experience on the trail and her experience having something horrible happen to her in college. And it was really great. I loved it. I actually sticky tabbed it, and honestly, it was a great read and I highly recommend it, but fair warning, triggering if you obviously it is triggering, so because it deals with a horrible subject. But anyways, okay, third favorite book that I read of 2020, that is nonfiction, and that is probably a very big surprise, but it is I Am Haunted: Living Life Through the Dead by Zach Bagans. I actually created a YouTube video that I basically summarize this book, and then I also go through all the chapters on what happens. This book was very entertaining, and that's why it's on this list. Zach Bagans, I don't know, he's like a funny guy. And he's also the host of Ghost Adventures, a show that is pretty cringy and pretty fake, but is a show that I love because it's good memories, you know? I don't know, I'm not going to explain why I love Ghost Adventures, but it's just entertaining, like this book. And this book is just little, as I explain it, it's little anecdotes on Zach Bagans' life, and as well as like a couple of spooky story times, I guess. I love the paranormal. And I loved this book, and it was really entertaining. More entertaining than like Dark World, which is his other book that I also went through in this on this channel. I have a playlist called Book Adventures, so if you want to watch both of those videos, then go ahead. They are like 40 minutes long, so be warned. But anyways, yeah, I highly recommend this as well. If you're looking for some spooky story times and some great entertainment instead of hard-hitting books. Okay, the last book that I want to mention in my top 10 of the nonfiction section is Moose by Stephanie Klein. And this is a memoir about Stephanie Klein's experience in fat camp. And it's very interesting. And the way she wrote it, it's like one summer in fat camp, but it's actually, these are all experiences that she had over multiple summers at fat camp. So it's very interesting, and I got it at the thrift store, and otherwise I would probably never have heard of this book, but it was like really entertaining. Some great information in here, and yeah, I recommend it as well, if it sounds entertaining, I guess. Honestly, I just recommend all these books, but if any sound entertaining to you, then link in the description of all the books. I tried to link all the books that I have in every video in the description, but I kind of stopped doing that because first of all, I forgot what books I mentioned. Second of all, it kind of gets like bothersome after a while. So yeah. Okay. So now this section is fiction books that I loved and read in 2020. This one's not going to surprise anybody, but it is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. This is, in 2020, I read this for the third time, so if that says anything to you guys, then it should say you should read it. But Jurassic Park and Michael Crichton is my absolute favorite. He's my favorite author. This is my favorite book, and yeah. If you don't know Jurassic Park, have you been living under a rock? I'm just joking. I'll just briefly explain it. It's basically in this island, there's dinosaurs, that are genetically engineered, to exist after being extinct for millennia, and, there's these doctors and like scientists and mathematicians who go onto the island and just to see this like theme park, I guess, that the dinosaurs are engineered for to like be a tourist attraction basically, and then something happens and they lose power, and then the dinosaurs wreak havoc on the island. And yeah, very good. Highly recommend. If you haven't read any Michael Crichton before and are curious as to where to start, because this is where I started and it was amazing. I'm also going to be making Michael Crichton videos of all the books I read by him so far. So, if you don't really want to start with this, then stay tuned. I'm going to post the video in March. Anyways, the next book in this list is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This was one of my favorite books of 2020. Obviously, all these books are, but this book was honestly beautifully written. So in my reading taste video that I created, kind of a video all about my reading taste, I told you guys that I don't like books that are more about like character relationships. And then I read this book, and I clearly lied in that video because I loved this book. This basically nothing really plot driven happens, I guess. It's just more character driven, and it was amazing. It's about post-apocalypse, where the world is ash infested and burning, and it's like about this father, or a man and the boy. You assume it's a father and son, because the son calls him Papa, but like in the book their names aren't really given. It's just referred to as the man and the boy. Anyways, okay, so it follows a father and son and their survival of this post-apocalyptic burning world. And it's great. And if you don't necessarily like character-driven stories, I'd say try this out. It might not be your favorite, but it's a great book. If you like character-driven stories, highly recommend. I cried in it too, so be warned. Okay, next book is The Simple Wilds by K.A. Tucker. This is a romance book. And it's basically about this girl who she visits her dad in Alaska, who they have an estranged relationship, and she visits him and tries to, like, rekindle their relationship, I guess. And then there's this, like, angry bush pilot, and it's like a hate-to-love romance between him, the angry bush pilot, and the girl. And it also deals with relationships, obviously, because it's romance. But, yeah, it was great. I loved it. I love hate-to-love romances. And, yeah, I highly recommend if that sounds right up your alley. Very atmospheric as well. Next book is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This I read in June, I believe, and this book is very hard-hitting YA. It is about a girl who is Black. I'm not going to say African American because I'm not sure, like, if that's the correct term. So I'm just saying Black. Sorry if you get offended, but she's Black, and she had this friend who, they were just like at a party and they were minding their own business, and they drove home, and then some cops pulled them over and killed him for no apparent reason other than he's Black. So it's just about her dealing with that trauma, and her wanting to do something about it, honor her friend's memory, and yeah, there's writing in it, and it was very impactful and hard-hitting as well. I think I already said that. But yeah, I highly recommend this book. It's great, even if you don't like YA, which I'm now realizing I'm kind of starting to grow out of YA books, but I do still read them occasionally. But I'd highly recommend this, and yeah. Okay, next book is Things to Do When It's Raining by Marissa Stapley. This book is another character-driven story with relationships and romances, and this book is basically about this girl who moves back to her hometown after her boyfriend, I don't know, fiance, is caught lying and basically leaves her, I guess. And so she goes back to her hometown, and both her grandparents are dealing with their relationship, and then in their struggles, and then she, the main character, kind of is dealing with her relationship with her fiance leaving her, as well as this past relationship she had with this guy, and how they were so in love as teenagers, and then he just left her. Really great. I don't do a great explanation of this, or any books at all. I'm not really good at explaining things, but yeah, this book was amazing. Highly recommend it as well. And something I didn't think I was going to like as much in 2020 as well. Okay, the last book in this list is Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. And this is a really hard book to explain. And I'm just going to do my best to explain it. It's about this guy who is dealing with PTSD from World War II, I guess, that he was in. And then he gets kidnapped by aliens and abducted, and it's this whole thing. Very hard to explain. All I'm just going to say is I highly recommend it. Just read it, please. It was good. I liked it. I love the writing in it. And yeah, I kind of want to read more Kurt Vonnegut books, as well as Cormac McCarthy's books, because I just loved the writing. And yeah. Anyways, can't really say much about this book, because this book, I believe I read in February of last year, so it's been a long time. Yeah, but compared to all the other books I read, they're not really fairly recently, but kind of recent. And then this one's from February, but it's great, and I have to recommend it. Anyways, okay. So that was my list for 2020 top 10 favorite books. If you have read any of these books or want to, link in the description, as I said, or you can comment down below what your favorite books are of this list or your list or something. I'd love to know, and I'd love to get recommendations as well. See. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for joining me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you want. And you can comment down below what your favorite books or of this list or your guys' list are. Give me recommendations. That'd be fun. And see, if you want, you can subscribe to this channel, but you do not have to. And with that being said, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.